Time now for culture, and Hervé Le Tellier has just been named the winner of France's most prestigious literary prize, the Goncourt. This for his novel L'Anomaly, or The Anomaly. France 24's Catherine Cadet-Clifford is with us for more. Catherine, tell us more about this work and its author.
So Hervé Le Tellier is a 63-year-old French author and playwright and linguist. He's published some 30 books, including collections of poetry, erotic stories and novels. Let's take a listen to his reaction to winning France's top literary prize.
You never expect to win a prize like the Goncourt. Firstly, you don't write a book to win any sort of prize, and we can't hope to win one. So it's a very symbolic and unique prize. There are some very important consequences for the author. But the hope of winning it was not at all a project of mine.
So his novel L'Anomaly, or The Anomaly, takes place in 2021 and revolves around a Paris to New York flight.
One of the few, I guess.
On which passengers experience this extraordinary event. I won't tell you too much about what that is. It's narrated alternately between 11 different characters, all of whom were on that flight. Among them are Blake, a family man and chef with a double life as a hitman, Slim Boy, a Nigerian pop star who's struggling to hide his sexuality. And it's the one that most critics were really predicting as the winner, and it's easy to see why they chose it. It's a page-turner, but at the same time, a very cleverly layered piece of literary fiction. It's doing so many different things within one novel, blurring the genres, juggling 11 different characters, and making the writing style of each of their chapters is really very different when it comes to from character to character. So it's experimental, but at the same time, very accessible and readable, which isn't always the case.
Not always the case, no. Yeah. The Goncourt is, obviously it's a big event in the French literary calendar, probably the biggest, and the bit of a change in the ritual this year.
Yes, exactly. It's France's most prestigious literary prize. It dates all the way back to 1903, and this year, like many events in 2020, it was held on Zoom. So it was a very different atmosphere. Usually there's a renowned chaos and a huge press scrum around the winner as they arrive. But the chaos was a bit different this year. All 10 members of the prestigious Goncourt Academy connected from home, had all sorts of technical problems. It felt a bit like a giant family reunion on Zoom. Some of them had tropical backgrounds and so on. So it's a real break with tradition, because for over a century now, the Academy has been meeting in the same room, in the same restaurant in central Paris, the Druant restaurant. They decide on the winner over a luxurious lunch and then announce it. And the whole process is just steeped in ritual. They have their own engraved cutlery, each member. The prize itself...
You have to get takeaway if you're on Zoom.
Yeah, I guess this year. The prize itself is worth just €10, so it won't buy you too much here in Paris. But the real prize is in recognition and book sales. In recent years, the average Goncourt winner has racked up about 400,000 copies in sales, compared to just a few thousand copies for your average novel in France.
Okay, a change in the format and a change in the date as well.
Yes, when France went back into lockdown at the end of October, shops deemed by the government as non-essential, bookshops included, were forced to close. And this sparked a real debate in France about whether books should be considered as an essential item. So the Goncourt Academy postponed the prize, which is usually held in the first week of November, in solidarity with the bookshops. And when the government announced that these kind of shops could open again this weekend, the Goncourt Academy announced that they would hold the prize in time for bookshops to really feel the benefit of Christmas shopping sales. Now, France 24's Clovis Casali went to visit some of these bookshops as they reopened their doors this weekend in Paris.
Christmas shopping has begun, and Parisians can again wander around small shops. December is the best month for business in this bookshop of the Marais area. Customers looking for ideas of gifts might well be inspired by the announcement of the winner of France's most prestigious literary prize.
C'est vraiment de grosses ventes à chaque fois et à Noël, ça représente une part importante du chiffre d'affaires aussi. Les gens aiment bien offrir le dernier Goncourt, les derniers prix littéraires.
Bookshops struggled to compete against online retailers during lockdown. They're desperate now for the support of the public after months of losses. Coronavirus hit hard traditional businesses, and small shops needed to reopen as early as possible to survive. Customers are glad to be back and even relieved.
Oui, je suis très contente. Alors pour les magasins de vêtements, ça m'intéresse moins, mais tout ce qui est bouquins et tout ça, oui.
C'est un élément essentiel de la vie, c'est une nourriture vitale. C'était évident que c'était une très mauvaise décision de fermer les librairies. Je suis très heureux de voir que cette librairie que j'adore est réouverte. Je souhaite bonne chance.
Close to Notre Dame, legendary bookshop Shakespeare & Company also suffered greatly from the lockdown. Ernest Hemingway and James Joyce are some of the famous authors who used to spend hours here. The owners in these difficult times asked for the help of customers, and they received thousands of orders from around the world. Just like many other Anglophone bookshops in the capital, they're hoping for the quick return of tourists, but they'll have to wait a little longer for that.
Clovis Casali reporting there. That was your culture update. Our thanks to Catherine Cadet Clifford. You're watching Live from Paris here on France 24. I'll be back with the headlines in 10 minutes.